Hi everyone, this is Laura, and in this video I want to talk about self-care. So often we forget to take care of ourselves. We've got so much going on in our lives, from work to family to friends and everything in between. It's so easy to forget to take care of ourselves. So in this video, I'm going to share 3 tips for making sure that you are always deliberately baking in self-care practice. So, tip number 1, know your signals. Your signals are the things that are going to go firing off every time you are really needing that self care break. They can range in how they manifest. So, it could be burnout at work, it could be feeling more tired than usual, it could be that you're not getting as much joy out of a project that normally brings you a lot of joy. So, everyone will have different signals, and it's important for you to develop a list of what your signals are so that when they do pop up, you know what they are and you know what to do. So, tip number 2, once those signals have been firing off, don't ignore them. Make the time. Making time for self care feels like a burden sometimes. Another thing to do, another thing to schedule in. But I would argue that making sure you bake that in is actually going to make the quality of your life and your daily life a lot better and easier to manage. Even if you can only fit 5 minutes to go on a walk at lunch or do a quick meditation, that is important time for you to make sure that you're doing. And then other weeks, hopefully, you'll have a little bit more time to do something every day. But even if you don't have enough time, make sure that you're doing it, especially when those signals are firing off. Because if you don't, those signals are just going to keep firing and firing and firing until they're more intense, and it can get painful if you don't do anything or act. So, tip number 3, after you do a self-care practice, do some reflection. You want to make sure that the self-care practice that you're engaging in is something that's giving you the biggest bang for your buck. There's so many different ways to do self-care, and there's so many different ways that you will experience self-care. So one week you might love going on a walk. Maybe the weather changed like it is right now, and it's really sunny, so I'm loving going out walking. And then another week, maybe you love knitting or cooking. So just know and reflect on the different self-care practices that you're experimenting with. Check in with yourself. How did you feel before the self-care practice? How do you feel after? And then the self-care practices that you notice really bring you the most relief and satisfaction, you want to make sure that you just bake those into your regular routine more often. And then make sure that you're always trying different types of self-care, listening to music, talking to a friend. There's so many different ways that you can have self-care be part of your life. So don't just stop once you know 2 or 3 things work. Keep experimenting, and you'll be surprised at how interesting and fun that can actually be. So that's my tips for baking self-care into your repertoire, into life. And I hope you takes the time to really embrace self-care and bake it into your regular routine. So happy self-caring. I know I'm going to be doing it, so I hope you will too.